Hello and welcome to Stand Up for Jehovah. Well, we're coming up to memorial season. Or are we in memorial season? Are we deep into memorial season? It's hard to know. I don't actually know what memorial season is. What happens? It's not like they have any pre-match parties, is there? Like the month before there's some kind of, exciting build-up. What do you do in memorial season? Maybe you just go around looking a bit glum, bit serious. Memorial season. I think it's fitting for a death cult to have the only celebration, the only single thing that you're allowed to celebrate in the year is when somebody died. Isn't that appropriate? I mean, you know what? Like I'm still a witness. People could take a lesson from that, couldn't they? Like, you're not allowed to celebrate birthdays because in the Bible somebody had a birthday and a bad thing happened. But you are allowed to celebrate deaths. We've missed a trick there. We could have been celebrating people's deaths every year after they died. When you had a baby at Kingdom Hall, not that you had it in the Kingdom Hall, when you were a witness and you had a baby, you could say, "Oh, love, I can't wait until you die so that I can celebrate your death every year. Can't celebrate your birth. Oh, no, that's a bad thing. Celebrating birth is a bad thing. But celebrating death, yay! We're allowed to do that because Jesus died." Do you remember when you were a kid and you met a new friend, maybe at school or something, and you had that first incredulous conversation where the kid goes, "Are you not allowed to celebrate birthdays?" And you go, "No." And they go, "Are you not allowed to celebrate Christmas?" Like, obviously, when you're young, your voice goes really high until only the dogs can hear you. You go, "No." And they go, "Are you not allowed to celebrate Easter or Halloween or Mother's Day?" And you go, "No." And they go, "Is there anything you can celebrate?" And you go, on certain ground, "Oh, yes." "Oh, yes. No, we're not a boring religion. We can celebrate the memorial of Christ's death." And in your 7-year-old head, a little voice goes, "Oh, that sounded a lot crappier than I meant it to sound." The memorial of Christ's death. It's a right barrel of laughs. In fact, the memorial is like the shittiest party ever, isn't it? If you're going to call it a celebration at all. There's no decent music at the memorial, is there? You can't sing any of the great sea shanties. "Let's watch how we walk and watch how we talk, that thus we may be alert and wise, buying out the opportune time till you're old and grey and dead." No, you have to sing the dirge. Everyone's favourite slit your wrists to kingdom melody. "Lazarus lay sleeping in a stone-cold grave." That's exactly how I remember it. And there is food and drink at the shittiest party of the year, but you're not allowed to eat it. Oh no, you just have to pass it on and look at it and not touch it. How weird is that? In fact, do you remember the sheer bowel-melting excitement of hoping that somebody accidentally who'd been brought along as a Bible study or an interested person might pick up the emblems and eat them? You were kind of willing them to do it, weren't you? Please, oh please, just eat it. And all the interested people had been pre-warned, hadn't they? Not telling you, we don't eat the emblems. No, we just pass them on. Just pass them on. That's right. In fact, if anyone did take the emblems, they were branded as mentally ill, weren't they, or apostate? Unless it was some old crone that had been attending the meetings for like 50 years and had lost the marbles. In that case, then they weren't mentally ill. Then they were one of the anointed. And they were like these super holy people, like, I don't know, like angels. They were going to go up to heaven and rulers, like the kings on the earth. They were just decrepit, smelly old people. But any normal person that took the emblems, no, they were mentally ill. In fact, I'm sure the elders have been given a ruling whereby they're allowed to discount people that they think I'm mentally ill who take the emblems. Oh my God, it's so discriminatory, isn't it? I never quite knew how to feel about the memorial. As a sort of a pre-teenager, as you're coming into your emotional, spiritual type part of your life, when you're coming into the teenage years, I tried out different feelings. So I tried sad, and I tried meaningful, and I tried grateful. I genuinely, I don't know what the face is that means grateful. That just made me end up looking like a bit of a tit, really. In fact, what I mostly felt about the memorial was deeply bored. It was incredibly boring. In fact, the only Billy bonus about the memorial was that if it happened on a night that was like perilously close to the Thursday meeting, it would replace the Thursday meeting, because you couldn't go on like Tuesday and then Thursday and then Friday and then Sunday. If it replaced the Thursday meeting, that was bonus, because the memorial was shorter than the Thursday meeting. And that was the nearest I got to gratitude about the memorial. I mean, basically, celebrating a death is a bit of a downer, isn't it? It's a really fucking miserable thing to do, celebrating somebody's death every year. And we hadn't even asked him to die. We just were the recipients of this death. We had to be super grateful for it all the time. And in fact, your choices were be super grateful all the time or be killed. That's a hell of a choice, isn't it? Be super grateful or be killed. Obviously, we all chose super grateful. But deep down, it was a bit of a non-emotional event, really. We just went along and, did the thing and went home. I would never go along to a memorial now as a non-witness and be disrespectful about their crazy, kooky death cult celebration, the only one that you're allowed in the year. In fact, the same one that the Satanists do, where they pass the emblems and deliberately don't take them because that's disrespecting Jesus. Go Satanists! And no, I'd never go along and disrespect the memorial, in the same way that I'd never go into a mosque and laugh at all the men for wearing nightshirts. Or in the same way that I'd never go to a place where the Pope was and shout at him, "Hey, you're wearing a dress, you big, fat, judgmental, homophobic pufter." No, I'd never disrespect the memorial, but I'm still slightly pissed off that they haven't invited me to it for the past 20 years. Thank you for listening to another episode of Stand Up for Jehovah.